Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Man Zone. Today, I wanted to kind of go over kind of a very difficult topic and something that is kind of an uncomfortable thing to discuss, and that is men's mental health and depression and what steps you can do to help combat it when you're in the middle of dealing with either a panic attack or just um, getting deep into your feelings and that feeling of hopelessness. It's definitely a difficult thing to navigate. We all go through it at various times in our life, but there's always a way through it. But it does take a support structure. You really can't white knuckle your way through that because you're just going to fall right back into the trap. You definitely need a support system where you're going to get the help that you need when you need it in order to kind of help you get through that turbulent time. I can tell you from my own personal experience that anytime I had to combat any sort of negative feelings and down, whether it's related to family issues, work related issues, relational issues. It's definitely good to build that circle of trust, those circle of friends that will be your first wave of support. It's very, very important. It's critical that you develop that close knit group that that you can always have a very open and deep conversation with them, non-judgmental, and they're always going to be there with you through thick and thin. Those are the type of relationships you definitely want to cultivate and to grow and to ensure that you keep those sorts of friendships really, really close knit. It definitely will help you out. Um, I could tell you, even recently, I went through something here, work related, and it did bring me down substantially. Um, it was very difficult because it's not something I could discuss with my family. There was a lot of shame, and you have those feelings of shame, guilt, feeling of worthlessness, and those are very, very dangerous. It's definitely something telltale signs of things that you have to really, really pay attention to. And you have to be open to kind of that self evaluation and know when you feel like you're in trouble. Don't be afraid to reach out. Unfortunately, in the world we live in, there's too many men that have decided to go a different path, and that path doesn't lead to a happy ending. And unfortunately, what they leave behind is in their wake is a mess that has to be cleaned up, and then it just leaves things worse off. So I I definitely recommend you start first with that first knit group, and try to channel any of your negativity through them and let them kind of assess your situation, and then from there, um, whether it's two or three friends, anybody that can definitely play a positive role and kind of reinforce the positivity, the positive aspects of whatever situation you're going through, no matter how how small or insignificant you might think it is. Those are really what help you kind of get through it, and it's definitely something that you want to make sure you have in your pocket. At some point in your life, you are going to need it. You're going to need to pull out that card. I've been on both sides, and I can tell you that it's a definite learning experience. Not only does it help strengthen the bond of the friendship, but it also kind of shows you the reality of life and how difficult life can be, and it helps you prepare for something similar as well. So it's definitely it's a hard topic to talk about. It's easy to get emotional. It's definitely easy to break down and feel like um, you're worthless. There's no way out. You no longer bring value to your family or to the world. Those are the types of feelings and red flags that you really need to be cognizant of. And it's important that you self realize that, and you immediately try to seek that help. Even here in my channel, um, I'm definitely more than willing to talk to anybody, even via live stream, whatever. It can be private. We can set up a video call. Anything, I'm here for the community. I'm not here to try to be famous. My goal is to try to educate and save men primarily. Men have a very different life than women. It's been well documented, as even though the feminists, oops, and other and those types. So I know I shouldn't really say that here on YouTube, but those particular groups are they don't believe you, right? They believe that the patriarchy and we live it easy. We have an absolute advantage, but we know that that's the contrary. We have everything stacked up against us, and it's only through sheer will and determination are we able to be successful and make something out of this life. To be a good father, a good husband, a good friend. Those are life accomplishments. At least they are mine. I can't say I was successful in all of those. I am a good father. I am a good friend, but you don't always succeed everywhere. And I learn from my failures, and I take that and continue on my journey with my new partner in being a better person, being a better man, trying to be a more complete person. So if I ever go down that road again, I will be a far better person. It's unfortunate that you kind of have to learn. Some people are very fortunate; they have a very stable household, and they witness that that bond that husband and wife share, and it definitely helps feed into their overall growth and how they view marriage and relationships in marriage. Unfortunately, that's not the case for all of us, and sometimes we have to learn from our mistakes and pick ourselves up after we've fallen down. But that's the key. I mean, there's so many motivational speakers that will talk about how to stay motivated and what to do and how to push through. David Goggins is one that my friend sends me pretty regularly, and it's very motivational. Obviously, he's very extreme on his motivational tactics, but it's a very the point is there. You got to keep pushing through. No one is going to help you. You have to do it for yourself, and that is the key. Now, once you get past that first layer of friends, next would be your family. As with anything, men are very proud, very stubborn, and I'm guilty of that. Definitely, where you feel you can't admit any fault. You always have to be the rock, the person that is unbreakable, kind of like Superman, essentially, right? You're infallible. you don't make any mistakes. You don't get sick. You're never down. You're always up. You're pushing through. Everything you do is a success, and it's very difficult to live up to that expectation. And that's where those feelings of being down really, really affect you, because it create and builds up this guilt that you're just not man enough, and that couldn't be farther from the truth. So definitely, hopefully you have family members that you can talk to and rely on. Um, Again, I'm very fortunate. I do have an older brother that I am close to, and and at times his words of advice definitely have, I don't want to necessarily say saved me, but it definitely has kind of righted my ship and kind of brought me back and centered me a little more, where I was more off balanced, just by his affirmations and just listening to him. Sometimes that's all you really need, is just for somebody to hear you and to affirm your position. And that's really an important thing, is that regardless of where you are in life, that you know that they're always going to be there for you regardless. Then I do have some close relatives, some cousins and uncles that I know I can talk to. And again, I'm very fortunate in that regard. It is a blessing that I can reach out to them, and they will hear me out and provide their worldly advice. They're older, and they've lived through it. They've gone through some of the things that I'm going through, or went through before. So it definitely does help, to have people that are like-minded. And that's part of the key, right? Not only with your friends and family, you want to be surrounded by people that are like-minded and that have the same goals and aspirations. That's really the best way to help you get through any turbulent time. And as easy as it sounds, I know it's hard when you're sitting there and you have those feelings, and you don't know what to do, and you're lost, and you feel like you no longer have any personal value. Um, there are hotlines that you can reach out to in a last ditch scenario, really. But I've never personally used it, but I know that other people that have, former employees of mine that utilize that service, and they did provide positive feedback. So it is an alternative if you don't want to have a face to face. A phone conversation is a little easier to have, because you're not looking at the person directly, and you're just kind of doing it anonymously over the phone, which definitely makes it a little easier to be able to open up and be truthful about your emotions, and kind of where you sit and where the imbalance is. Well, I hope this was somewhat helpful. Again, we all go through it. It's not the end of the world, and I can tell you from personal experience that is how I felt at certain points, where it was the end of the world. It's almost to the point where I started to almost get panic attacks, because I felt like the walls were closing in on me, and there was nothing I could do to help to alleviate the situation. That's where you kind of need to take a step back, breathe, relax, be patient, and use relaxation techniques. There are various relaxation techniques that you can try that do provide some measure to calm you down. One is to just breathe in through your nose, hold your breath, wait about 30 seconds, and then exhale. However long you can hold it, try to hold it. The idea is that slowing down of the breathing will slow down your heart rate, and it will calm your body down naturally. It's definitely a technique that I've used previously, and I can tell you that it does help. Well, I hope that this information has been helpful to you. Thank you for taking the time to view this video. Please like and subscribe, and hopefully we can continue to grow this community, strictly for the benefit of men's health and information, and hopefully any sort of guidance. And that's my goal of what I'm trying to do for the world here. Thank you, and have a good one.